Good morning, YouTube. Hello, 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 hello. Good morning to you. 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 It's a prosperous and wonderful day. What do you say? It's a wonderful day. It's a prosperous and glorious day. We're abundant and free. Oh, yes, it can be. We're such a marvelous and wonderful day. And we're awesome this morning. We're magnificent this morning. We're enchanting this morning. We're prosperous and full of ecstasy and abundance. And we should rejoice about that. Rejoice, rejoice, and I feel like rejoicing about all that awesomeness and magnificence and all that energy that I feel this morning and that healing power which I send out to all of you all that are ill or feel bad in any way, and the spirit of lack which I cast out in you today, and the spirit of abundance which I lift up for you today. I feel so radiant and joyful that I want to rejoice, 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 rejoice. Let us all rejoice. Let us make that our choice. Let us rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. That is now and forever your choice. The choice, the choice, the choice. The choice to rejoice and rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. That is now and forever your choice. Let us make the choice to rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. Let us feel the excitement and the energy. Let us feel the enthusiasm and power. Let us feel the dominion and authority and rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. Such victory we've won that we outshine the sun. Our radiance is brighter, you see. Our radiance is brighter, you see, than the sun can ever be. So we have to rejoice, rejoice, and know that we're happy and free. So let us rejoice this morning about all these marvelous things that are taking place and all this wonderful energy that we feel, and know that we have all healing power and all authority and dominion, and we only have to rejoice at what we got to get it to multiply and flow more. You get it to multiply, it will multiply and multiply and multiply when you magnify it in your mind through rejoicing about it and being grateful for it and knowing it's there. Oh yes, oh yes. When you enjoy something, you want to talk about it. You want to rejoice about it. You want to go over it in your mind, and you want to coddle it and enjoy it in every way that you possibly can, and let it fill your day with enjoyment and excitement and adventure. And so when we think about all the energy and the healing power and authority and dominion we have, we need to rejoice in that same way and really feel it, begin to feel it, and it will bring prosperity and abundance to us, and it will bring health and energy and radiance, and will outshine the sun, because we are really more powerful than the sun, and have more light and more energy and more radiance. We have such radiance really within us. We just don't know it until we really begin to let it flow. Until we really begin to flow it, then we begin to show it. And so it's just a marvelous, marvelous day. And today we should rejoice about knowing that we're totally superior to lack of every kind. And we're totally and completely abundant and free. And we're totally healthy and strong when we rejoice and receive it. We're totally above and superior to everything less than overflowing wealth and prosperity. And we should know that and rejoice it and declare our superiority and declare our dominion. Oh, our dominion. Of course, that our dominion means that we just have the power of command. We have the power and the authority. That dominion is just an authority which we have when we call it. When we call it in, we call in our power, which is really within us, and we just never have exercise. The dominion, we can call in that power, which will give us the dominion if we will exercise it and rejoice about it and begin to magnify it and go over it in our mind and realize what we really have and let it flow out of us. And then we gain that spirit of dominion and authority over all these lesser states of consciousness. And so we want to rejoice and gain that victory over those lesser states of consciousness, such as lack and illness and unhappiness and less than full and radiant joy. And then we will win that victory over all those lesser states of consciousness, which was really never intended for us to live in. We were never intended to live in a state of consciousness that allows for unhappiness and fear and less than full prosperity and abundance. We've just let ourselves fall into that through years of falling under certain false beliefs and superstitions. And so we need to cast those out and begin to raise ourselves to see what all is really there. And so we were talking about how many really mansions, and mansions stands for something much more wonderful than most people usually define it as. When we talk about, someday we will have a mansion and we will walk on streets of gold and all these types of things that we hear about. But really, the mansions that were spoke about there are far more abundant and far more powerful and far more significant and imply far more to us and have a far greater implication than just a large place to live. It's the mansions that are within our soul. It just means that there's many, many, many dimensions to our soul. The rooms in the mansion stand for dimensions within our soul, and then it stands for compartments that can be developed in our soul to make us powerful and free and abundant. And how many streets of gold has our infinite mind, God, divine mind, our source, the source of our life, the source of our joy, the source of everything we are? How many has the source, the divine mind, the infinite mind, God provided for us to walk on? And there's an infinite amount. It's not just a few streets of gold in front of a few mansions that only happens after we die, but it is right. But it is now many, many, many streets of gold, streets that are far more. The significance of it implies far more than what we generally think it really signifies. So, how then do we turn rejoicing? We're talking about rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. How do we turn rejoicing into actual and effective solutions to every problem we have? How do we turn that into a practical solution to our problem? And we want to know that it will provide a practical problem, not just give us joy and peace and power, which it will do, but that our rejoicing and our acts of meditation and our acts of reflection and all the things that we do in everything that we do will turn into actual practical solutions. And so the reason why that it will is because rejoicing about good adds good. The more we rejoice about the good which we have, the more we multiply that good. The more we rejoice about the substance which we know we have, the more we realize that we actually do have, and the more that multiplies our vision to be able to see what substance we have, not only what substance we have, but what substance there is for us to begin to gain and begin to realize and begin to let flow into our life. And how do we know what that all good, I always say all good when we mention the word good, which is synonymous with God, and God is synonymous with good. God is all good, and every good thing, great thing. So when we mention the word good, we need to always put with that all. God is all good and has all good. And since we're coexistent with God and so existent with infinite mind and divine mind, our source, then we have available all good. And I mean all good. Anything that you can put under the column good is all available now to us. And not just some good, all good is ready to flow. And how do we know that? Well, one verse says, out of your innermost being, your innermost consciousness, your innermost being, deep within your soul, will flow rivers of living water. And that's talking about rivers of immortality, rivers of every kind of good, rivers of complete superiority to everything less than good. And all of that is going to flow out of us. So that's how we know that all good is present. And that simply by rejoicing about it, we enable it to flow, and then we begin to see it, and we begin to rejoice even more about it. And the more we rejoice, the more it begins to flow, and so on. So how do we get creative? How do we get creativity and energy flowing in our lives? We want to be creative because our creative endeavors will prosper us and also will give us a lot of enjoyment in our life. And we want to have energy because our energy enables us to pursue our creative endeavors. So how do we get creativity and energy flowing? That's, again, that comes under spending time in meditation, asking Infinite Mind to give us more creativity, asking Infinite Mind, what creativity do I already have that I'm not using, and what energy is already there that I'm not allowing to flow, and what energy am I stopping and stifling and dampening down by my beliefs and my superstitions, and how can I get rid of those superstitions which are damming up that energy? How can I get rid of my superstitions, and there are many which we have that we're unaware of? How can I get rid of those superstitions and fears which are damming up that creativity and that energy? Everything resolves itself to the flow of enough energy and creativity. With enough energy and creativity, innovative power and engineering power and inventive power all comes under that energy and creativity. Enough energy and creativity resolves everything for us. It solves everything. It becomes substance. It becomes money. It becomes prosperity. It becomes abundance. Why is this so, and how can we know? As you begin to get that energy and creativity flowing, you'll begin to see the results of it, and then you'll know. How do we prepare our consciousness? We prepare our consciousness by getting quiet and allowing those thoughts which come from our innermost being. We begin to say, I know that out of my innermost being can flow rivers of living water, which are rivers of immortality, which will reveal immortality and which will reveal creativity and energy. I know that's within me, and so I'm going to get as quiet as I can and encourage. I'm going to encourage those rivers to flow. I hereby right now, I say, Infinite Mind, Lord, I hereby allow those rivers of creativity and energy to flow. And then if you let them flow, Infinite Mind, if you let them flow, God, I will rejoice. I will rejoice unendingly about that. I will rejoice every day. I will rejoice every hour. I will rejoice every minute about it as I see those flow. And as we do that, that will cause them to flow. And then we rejoice, and the more we rejoice, the more they will flow. And you keep rejoicing until you just glow, and you have all kinds of power and dominion. And I will get into this wonderful subject a little more on tomorrow's video. And thank you. Have a good evening.